Hi, everybody.
Всем привет.
We're back together again. Bill made it yesterday to Chicago, so we have finished class 7, and let's review what we have done so far, right?
Okay.
But first, let's think about, let's set up the motivation for the
Okay.
course.
You're going to lead us in a meditation.
We can do it as a meditation. Actually, we can go through all 6 preliminaries and 7 ingredients and set up the motivation again. So sit comfortably, and I will lead you through the 6 preliminaries and 7 ingredients. Maybe you remember about your posture. If you have something in front of you, that you can clean, you can start with this. Or maybe just think that you have cleaned up your room today already. Then if you do not have an altar or anything like that, you can just imagine that you prepared all the nice flowers, pleasant things that you can make a gift out of. You can make as a gift, you prepare it. Or just imagine in the sky, that you offer these flowers, because it's a bribe for this teaching, to get it and to be successful in your practice. And then if you did not close your eyes yet, you can close your eyes. Sit up straight. Check your posture. You can sit on a chair in half lotus or full lotus. Your back should be straight. Your shoulders on the same level. Your chin parallel to the floor. Your lips and mouth are relaxed and natural condition. Teeth also. Your tongue is also in your natural position, maybe slightly touching your palate behind your teeth. Not really high roof of the mouth, but almost natural. And you can check if your front is relaxed or not, and try to make this center of your front soft. Relax your face. If you are sleepy, you can leave your eyes half open. Just they should be unfocused. And to additional adjustment, you can tighten a little bit your abdomen muscles and the space between your 2 shoulder blades. Your hands are in a comfortable position. They just should not distract you. And if you are sitting on a chair, make sure that you sit straight comfortably, not leaning back on your chair. And your feet are grounded. And let's do 10 perfect breaths. And we start with the out breath because we want to conquer the death. And we will do the inhale, the last 10 perfect breaths. Focus your mind on the tip of your nose and just follow your exhales, warm air leaving your nostrils, and inhales, cold air enters your nostrils. Try not to think about anything else and do not move. Think about problems in your life that you have. And how wonderful it will be to get rid of all your problems. Think about the fact that everything is coming out of my actions, words, and thoughts. And if I change these ones, then I can create anything. I can be completely free of my problems. Because everything should not be the way it is. It can be just perfect. Imagine that you will reach a point in your life when everything will be perfect. Imagine all your problems disappeared. You feel happy and free. And make a wish. If you will reach this point, you will make sure to help everybody else to do the same. Then think about your teacher in your life, or if you do not have one, you can imagine your teacher. An extraordinary being going with you into every single life you have, trying to help you to stop all your problems and be absolutely happy. A being who loves you more than you could ever imagine you can love another being. Maybe they showed up as your mom or dad or a member of your family. Maybe it's just another person you met. But at some point, they really helped you. Or you can just imagine such a being. Think about what you could offer to such a being who is completely capable to help you to get free from all your problems and become really happy. Traditionally, you can imagine you offering a sky full of flowers, garlands of flowers, very beautiful. You can offer anything that you think is pleasant and beautiful. You also can offer this practice. Think about one quality that you see in your teacher, or if you are working with an image of your future teacher, probably it will be their compassion or wisdom. And mentally bow down to this quality. That means be happy that they have it. And it means you have a chance to become the same. Now think about something that you have done during last 24 hours that you are not proud of. And regret it. Imagine that you open your heart to this teacher and you talk about this fact. And the teacher understands. Teachers know it before it even happened. Now think about something good you have done within last 24 hours. Maybe you've been generous or patient with somebody. Maybe you have done something that is unusual for you and was helpful for another person. Maybe you just didn't follow your usual negative emotions. Or did a meditation. Offer it to your teacher. Ask your teacher to stay and teach you. Ask your teacher to bless you. And blessing means that they will change your aptitude, your capacities. Imagine that your teacher is raising up in the air, made of light, very beautiful. Shrinks and comes to the top of your head. Very small, like maybe like a small bird or a thumb even. Shrinks even more, like a grain of rice. And they go through your central channel into your heart. And they promise to stay with you. And dedicate this short meditation to other living beings. First, to your close ones that you love. And imagine that with your exhale, golden light comes out of your heart like rays of light, too many to count. and they reach your close ones. Then with the second exhale, give it to everybody on this planet. And with the third exhale, give it to everybody in this universe, dedicated to their freedom and happiness that will last forever. Slowly come to your breathing. And open your eyes. Okay, that's it. Now you have the whole stuff. Now you can really start meditating. +8.
+8. So the first thing we're going to talk about are
we are coming to a new subject, the object of meditation, right?
Yeah, so there's 3 types of meditation that you're going to do. I mean, there's a whole big world of meditation, but for us, for our purposes, there's 3 different types. What we've mostly been talking about up till now has been what Geshe is going to call fixation meditation, where you're learning how to focus, learning how to go up through the 9 stages and reach shamatha. And the reason why we're reaching shamatha, there's a lot of benefits to it. The big one is that's the level you need for the direct perception of emptiness. That's the level you need to permanently end your problems, right? Prior to that, you're not going to be able to have a permanent cessation of your mental afflictions. But after that, you can, and you will. You can see the nature of reality directly, and that will create a permanent cessation to your mental afflictions. And then for that one, where there's different objects we can use, and we'll talk more about that in classes that Ina and I will do after this one. We'll go through in a lot more detail each of the 9 stages and what you should be looking for and working on there. And there are different objects you can use for that meditation. But what I'm going to be teaching is to use the breath. That's the one that it's the simplest, it's the easiest. There's various advantages to it. But that's the one we'll use for that one is the breath. And that's simply like, as we discussed before, I mean, it sounds kind of boring, right? Like I'm just going to sit and focus on my breath. And it sounds kind of crazy, right? Until you see the results. And then it makes sense. It's exactly like if you told somebody, well, why don't you pay a couple $100 and go to this room and then move a bunch of steel plates. And then once you've moved the steel plates, put them back on the shelf where you got them from. And then you can go home, right? Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Why would I pay $200 a month to go move steel plates? It's kind of boring, right? Except people go to gyms, they lift weights, and then they get stronger and they can do whatever else it is they wanted to do better, right? I mean,
Boy,
so
now I understood the metaphor.
yeah. And so right. So people, it sounds crazy if you're not familiar with it, right? Like focusing on your breath for an hour sounds crazy if you're not familiar with why people do it. It will strengthen your mind the same way lifting weights strengthens your body. And then, whether you're a swimmer or a track runner or a football player, a basketball player, whatever it is, you'll be better at doing it. And so the same thing with fixation meditation. You'll be better at solving problems. You'll be better at using your mind if you go, do the mental lifting necessary.
Mhm.
So then,
And it will not be your final meditation object, right? It's just a
no,
training.
it's just a tool. You're simply developing the ability to think, and it's a very powerful tool. It's a big, yeah, to focus. Yeah, and then once you focus, then you can think more clearly. So it's a big one. It's really cool. Definitely worth your time. So before that, though, and particularly with the ACI courses, you'll do a lot of analytical meditation. And with an analytical meditation, what you're going to do is, you'll set up your meditation space. You'll go through the 6 preliminaries and the 7 ingredients, and then you'll sit down and you'll spend 15 minutes or so thinking about some kind of problem. Like, do I think things are really empty, or are they self-existent? Is there something out there that exists from its own side? Or is everything really empty? Or do I really think there's a cause and effect relationship between my actions and the results I get? Or any one of the other topics? And every ACI homework has them. And then there's a difference between doing your homework, writing down as quickly as what you can because you're busy, and then turning it in, and then hoping you get 100 and then never thinking about it again, right? Or sitting down for a week for 15 minutes and like really quietly trying to focus on one issue. And that it puts it into your brain in a way that simply doing the homeworks won't do. And doing the homeworks is better than just listening to the class in the car as you're driving to work, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen it time and time again. People who do the homeworks, do the quizzes, do the meditations, they'll retain the information. And then they'll get the results that come from the work, from the understanding, from the wisdom that people are giving you. And so that's an analytical meditation. And you don't have to have shamatha for that to work. You can sit down today with wherever you are, and as long as you can spend 15 minutes roughly on the subject, you'll get the benefit from it. And then the third one is a review meditation. And this is where, and you'll see as you go through, this tradition is very good with putting things into structured outlines. And you'll take whatever it is that you've been working on, and you'll say, okay, I decided that, there's a cause and effect relationship between my actions and the results. And then, well, okay, why? And then boom, 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 boom. Or you can take like one of the outlines that's like an outline of the entire path, and you can just go through it backwards and forwards. And it's also, it's helping you. It's like playing musical exercises for an artist. You get good at the ideas. It helps you retain those. And so then you're reviewing something that you've already learned to help you retain it. So fixation, analytical, and review. Those are the 3 types of meditations we're going to be working with.
Mm-hmm. Tibetan, right? Mm-hmm. Because this is quite famous. Fixation meditation, as Bill told you, the one that will help you like directly to see emptiness directly, right, is called Chogom. Very famous. The review meditation is called Shargom. And the analytical meditation is called Qigong. I want to give some comments like how you can use it in personal life and the business life, because it's not in the ACI course, but you know, when you practice it and it helps you, maybe it will motivate you to do so. So all these three kinds of meditation, they are very helpful in different ways. Fixation meditation is helpful to develop your focus, and Geshe Michael says that, yesterday we had a discussion about levels and difficulties, you know, and even you think you are a bad meditator, like, I don't know, level 1 or 2 meditator. Level 1, you are better than millions of you are 1 in a million on the planet. 1 in a million if you're level 1, if you just started meditating, right?
Yeah.
Because most people, they do not meditate.
It's true, most people don't.
Then level, it means you received instructions, and if you received correct instructions, like here in this lineage, we can, I don't know, I can put my life on that these instructions are correct, right? The second level meditation is you are becoming like prominent in whatever you do, you know, just second level. I mean, you just have a capacity to spend a little bit time on the object, right? You can get focused for 1 or 2 minutes on the object. It's extremely powerful. When you reach level 4, you do not lose your object anymore. You are better than 100 other meditators. Because usually in normal life, like even level 4 is difficult to reach if you're not in retreat and you have some kind of stress, maybe with your family, with your job, or something like that. So it is helping dramatically. Why? Because you can be a great business person, you can be a great mom for your kids if you can meditate. You can be really good professional in your job. I mean, prominent, you know, like nobody else around you. Just if you do any meditation and you have this capacity to focus for some period of time that other people do not have. Their focus span is like 3 seconds.
Oh, it's horrible. Phones. Yeah.
So
I remember coming out of retreat and seeing a music video, and it jumped like every 3 seconds. Like there'd be some interesting image, and then it would move on. I was like, wow, that's insane, right? Like, oh, like I wanted to look at it, it was gone, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is becoming more and more fast.
Well, it was literally like 3 seconds. No.
Then how do you use the review meditation, the Shargom meditation? This is when you meet something that you have never studied before. Like, for example, I don't know, it will be a great idea to implement this one at any school, because if you want another person to learn something, they are reviewing it mentally. I mean, they read something, then they close their eyes, like, I don't know, like 7 ingredients, right? You first read it, then you close your eyes and you review one by one in the sequence in your mind. And then what happens with the review meditation? You burn this image in your mind, and it is readily available, accessible any moment. You don't have to think deep, think twice, like, boom, you have it, boom, you have it. This is why we do all this review meditation in ACI courses. Or we had a talk with Katya yesterday or the day before about meditation, and I recommended for her to do a Lamrim meditation, which is a short one, like you can do it in 15 minutes, easy. And it's like a story, you know, you go through the forest, you see the a river bank, then you see a boat, you take a boat, you come to the island, you meet your teacher, then you go to a nice mansion, etc. And in this beautiful meditation, review meditation, you are actually walking all your paths to enlightenment. And you don't know it even first time you do it. And it is really deep. It is like a bit coded, but you will get all the codes within your ACI course. You will really understand what you are doing with this meditation. And because you have already your map in your mind, this is why you can really make a progress quickly in this. You can make progress quickly in these teachings. So this was the Shargom meditation, and the third one is called Chegom. Chegom is analytical meditation, very cool if you have any kind of business or you work some professional job that that requires thinking or problem solving. Because what you, and this one, boy, I was practicing a lot when I was a medical director in clinical trials, because usually we would have some kind of issues and every day something impossible, you know, like you're managing impossibles. And I would just sit in a meditation. And you put your problem in the center, and then you go, like, you do rounds, you circle this problem, and you review it from different angles, different perspectives. Okay, I have this issue. How to solve it? Do I have an idea how to solve it? Yes, I have this idea. Did it work before? No, it didn't. Okay, next one. Oh, do I think it will work? No, I don't then. And then you just review from all the angles. In our lineage, we add one additional step that makes this meditation like crazy helpful for business and other solutions, because you think, okay, that was, I walked, I circumambulated my problem already. And this was the old way. And if I will remember the pen that my problem comes from me, okay, I have somebody who is late with the project, right? Am I late anywhere else? Do I do what happens, you know, do I create this kind of problem to somebody else? Oh, I kind of do create this kind of problems. My husband had to wait for me, for example, yesterday. Then I think, okay, today I decide I will not be late anymore. I do my best, I will not be late. And then this will be the ultimate fix to your business problems. And I was really successful with this kind of meditation in my business life. So this is how the practical side of it. Let's do the next one.
Give the meaning of the word lam rim.
Yeah, okay, first give the meaning why we need lam rim.
Yeah, what is lam rim? It's
lam rim here. Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. The source of all my good is going to be in your homeworks, and it's a brief summary of the entire path. It's the entire spiritual career that you're going to go through from beginning to end. And it was something that we were asked to memorize it when I was a student. And it's not that long, and I think it would be good for you if you did memorize it.
It's anyway, it's in homework.
Are they telling people in the homework to memorize it? Good. Yeah. So I remembered it correctly. And it's fascinating, right? That somebody has seen this and they've understood it well enough to be able to write it all down. And there's different versions. This is the short one, and then there's medium and long ones. And you can read through longer explanations. But there's, it comes from.
The long one is, I have a Russian translation of the long one. It's 3 books like that.
Yeah. So, and then, what's happening is that people are having in meditation, the direct perception of emptiness. And then they come out and they can see their spiritual path after that, right? And then everybody follows the same spiritual path. And then they put it into writing for us, in different forms where we can hold on to it. So that's, it was, it was very helpful for me, to know, okay, so then, of the 4 Arya truths, you have problems. There's a cause for your problems. There's an end to your problems. And there's a path to the end of your problems. Well, this is the path to the end of your problems, right? They've outlined it for you in a way that's easy to see. And we're not telling you you have to believe it at all. That's what the meditations are for, right? Like, do you believe it? Are they right about this?
Check it.
yeah, check it for yourself, right? And then, but then, so that's long steps on the path.
Yeah. So now why you need the Lamrim? Because we actually came to the object of meditation, right? So we described what are the conditions to meditate, like preliminary conditions, how to get ready to meditation, what posture to take, what are the levels, which was called mental process, right? And now we reached object, what you should meditate on. And if you are a meditator, you probably know that you should have your meditation teacher, and the teacher gives you instructions and objects of meditation. So here in ACI, we are given the instructions and the object, right? And the object will be here the Lamrim, and what is Lamrim and why this is a good object to meditate. This is what we will spend our leftover 3 classes on. This is the object, what to meditate on, right? Okay, what is Lamrim?
Great. Any more to say on that one?
No, it's you meditate on the steps to the path. Why? Because it is very powerful, right? Because it will help you immensely, like nothing else. The idea is not to make you busy with moving iron plates. I was like, iron plates? Why iron? Then I realized he's actually making an analogy with the gym. I was thinking it's real plates.
Yeah, well, no, they are real plates.
No,
it seems kind of absurd, right?
Like vessel,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, why would you move iron?
Pasuda? Yeah, pasuda. No.
Vessel. So why to do it? Because it's a very good object for you to become happy as soon as you can, as fast as you can.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, what Lamrim is about, right?
Do you want to do this one?
Yeah, I can do this one.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have more to say on this one than I do.
Yeah, because he knows that this is one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah.
Basically, in this traditional lineage, there were people who were following Lamrim, and they would go through 5 topics in brief presentation. And there was a lineage that was a monastic lineage, and they would say Lamrimpas and Tsenipas, right? So, and Tsenipas were people who were basically monks. They did not have to work. They had time, right, to study these 5 books in depth. And Lamrimpas, usually they were lay people who did not have that much time, business people, like homeowners, I mean, just normal people. And in Lamrim, they have included 5 subject matters, right? So, and they are the following. Vinaya, it's about ethics and morality, and it's one of the basics, right? Then Abhidharma, and it is called the higher knowledge. In higher knowledge, you get explanation of everything that is around, how it functions, the universe, micro universe, micro universe, you know, like all these things. Very detailed explanations of the meditation stages, like really cool. But this is the lowest school, right?
Yeah,
Out of
it's
4.5.
kind of irony. Higher knowledge is the lowest school.
Yeah.
Master Vasubandhu, if you remember, we talked about him.
Comparing to people who do not understand this path,
No,
it is high,
no,
right?
it's brilliant because they're still going to believe in cause and effect, and they're still going to have a deep understanding of why, of what morality is, of what it means to have a functional ethical system.
Yeah, and also a lot of subjects from Abhidharma Kosha, they are not at all disproved by higher schools. Like, for example, the cause and effect is as good there as it can be, right?
Yeah.
Or like stages of meditation, it's all great. So then pramana. Pramana is logic, or you can say clear thinking, like how my mind really works. Why do I think that this is correct when I hear something and this is not correct when I hear something else? How can I prove to myself things that I cannot see? Because pramana is working with things that are not in your direct perception, like what you can see. Like I have this beautiful flowers, thanks to our volunteers who offered them through Katya. And I can see it directly. But what if, like, I will take this thing and then I will hide it, and then you don't see it, right? Nobody sees what I have behind me. But you have an idea what I have there, right? Because you didn't hear any noise. So probably it is still there, and you're using logic to guess what you do not see. You see? And now I do this. Oi, you have, they heard the noise, you probably didn't. And then their logic tells them, oh, there was a sound because she dropped her pen, right? And when you use because, you use your logic for things that you do not see. And pramana is extremely great school teaching you how you can figure things that you cannot see directly with your eyes.
It's one of the important things you have to have, because prior to the direct perception of emptiness, you're going to have doubts, right? Things are going to look like they're self-existent. Things are going to look like they're coming at you instead of from you. And so you have to use
your sodai of logic.
Yeah, logic to figure things out, right? You're going to have to use logic to fight with, the inborn tendency we have to see things wrong.
Yeah. Then 2 more books left, and one of them is Prajna Paramita, or it's actually more correct to say it's not actually physical books, right? It's like subject matter, like topics. But there are also physical books that correspond to these subjects. So Prajna Paramita, or Perfection of Wisdom, is the 4th one. And to those who are familiar, it belongs to the lower part of the highest school, right? And the 5th one is the highest school itself, Madhyamika Prasangika, right? Or the middle way.
So consequence school.
Yeah.
And so the middle way independence are the lower, and the middle way consequence are the higher. And
right.
you'll be constantly hearing these and studying them in greater detail as you go through.
Yeah. So all these 5 schools are in the Lamrim, believe it or not. All the 5 great schools. And Lamrim, as he said, as Bill said, can be like 3 big volumes, like Jetson Kappa, Lamrim Chenmo, and to the letter that he wrote to his disciple Yulon in ACI 1, Lamtso Namsu. It's 14 verses, and it still has all these 5 big books, 5 big subjects, even it's so short. And not only 5 big books, but also they talk about secret teachings, right? They mention both stages of secret teachings, which is Kerim and Zogrim, right?
Yeah.
They are both mentioned in these books of open teachings.
Creation stage and completion stage. And if you're in the Geshe program, if you're getting a PhD in the monastery, the 20-year program that Geshe Michael went through, those are Senyipas. Those are people who want to know the definitions of everything, right? And they study it in detail. This
They
course,
just have more time.
well, but these 18 ACI courses, they're a condensation of the Geshe course, and so really, I would say, and I think Geshe would say that if you're studying these ACI courses, you're a Senyipa. Now we're going to study a Lamrim, but the Lamrimpas just want the shortest, least amount that they can have because they're busy. But this is really for people who want something deeper, right? And particularly, it's preparing you for the advanced courses also. And so it's beyond. We're gonna study a Lamrim, but if you're doing this, you're in the Senyupa tradition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which
we like.
Yeah, we
it's
like.
Fun.
We like also Lamrim.
Yeah, no, it's the source of all my goodness. Yeah,
because we go to every single Lamrim Geshe does recently, so
yeah,
invite you to do also.
They're great.
Okay, so you mentioned the short, very short. Like I wanted to bring you to show. I translated it at some point into Russian, but this the source of all my good is like 1 page from 2 sides. That's it. This is the Lamrim that he wrote, and what is the author's name? Why did he write it, and when?
Jason Kappa, who you're going to hear, he's the
grandfather, great,
yeah. I don't know how many. There's a direct lineage back, and you can count through it. I don't know how many off the top of my head, but his dates again, 1357 to 1419, and he wrote this in what 1402. Yeah, and I'd forgotten this at in front of Lord Atisha, statue of Lord Atisha.
He had a very weird, beautiful and weird attitude to Lord Atisha. Like Lord Atisha passed away like almost 400 years before Jetson Kappa, but he really strongly felt him like one of his teachers, and he had this connection to him, and was really inspired by him.
And Atisha was one of the main figures that brought this wisdom out of India and into Tibet. And that was key because it would get lost in India. And if it hadn't been preserved in Tibet, we wouldn't have it today. So there's a handful of people that brought it like entire and intact into India. And because they were up in the Himalayas, they were safe. The armies couldn't get up there. And so
until the
invention of an airplane.
Planes.
Yeah, ironically, right?
Yeah.
And so which, and there could be a positive side to that, right? Because that
is not locked in Tibet anymore.
Yeah, when airplanes could get there, it pushed it back out into the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was also thinking that it's so weird. This tradition that is 2,500 years old sometimes depended like whether it will survive or not on one person. And I know several people that were like this, they could be a big chain, but they didn't.
Yeah, you'll see sometimes in the lineage, yeah, that'll be like one person will pass it on to one more person. And that will be the whole like lineage of some of the teachings that we
Yeah.
have.
If Lord Atisha would die somewhere on the way to Tibet, there would be no tradition.
There were other people, Atisha gets emphasized in our lineage, but there were other Indians who came up and brought it in. But anyway,
But
when I was in college, frankly, it was a question as to whether or not this would survive. That that it had been out, it was getting translated, but frankly, at that point, other than a handful of very old Tibetans, nobody really understood it. And so, but one person like a Geshe Michael can make.
Or his teacher, Ken Rinpoche, if he would
Yeah.
die in Himalayas, there would be no Geshe Michael.
Yeah, Ken Rinpoche almost died leaving Tibet to get into India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't be the big chain. Should pass it on also. Okay, and now we are coming. We had a discussion this morning with Bill how we should teach it, considering we know there are many new people in the audience. And
so we've got a lot to go because we've only got 30 minutes to finish this.
Okay, put it back. Okay, thank you. So 4 major parts of Lamrim, okay, and I will name them first and we will comment later, okay? Mm-hmm. First, the root of the path taking a Lama. Second, how to practice and purify the mind after you have taken a Lama. Requesting help in your practice and prayers to meet teachers and to achieve your goals. I know it sounds weird, but we are here in English, you have Shakespeare, and when you read it, it doesn't sound like English. I mean, I was thinking I speak pretty well until I started to read Shakespeare. It's totally weird. You have like 1 out of 10 words that you recognize, and totally you do not get the meaning. And when I was at my school, we were also studying old ancient Slavic verses, and I was like, wow, what is this? Like the word about the Prince Igor's like blah 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 something. So, and it was all weird. So first it may sound like a little bit off, but you need to understand why it's like that. So when they say Lama, right, or teacher, you can say, they mean that in order to succeed in something, you need to meet somebody who is better than you in this, who is a master, or at the very least made some progress, and then they can really teach you. I think this is self-evident, does not need to be proved. You go to a gym and you want a coach, like who knows how to move this iron plates.
Well, it's
not somebody who is like fat, overweight, and didn't ever start going to the gym, right?
Except Americans particularly, and I think Europeans in general, they're pretty independent, right? And boy, the idea of like as soon as you say somebody better than me, like I get
I'm better than you.
Better than me. And so but it's the idea that if you can imagine, like if you wanted to learn how to play the violin, and then if you just sat there by yourself, and tried to learn, you'd never get it, right? And if you want to be really good, you want to go to a really good teacher. You want to learn from a master, somebody who knows all the details and who knows the path for how to get there. And then with something spiritual, right? I mean, you can't see the result right now if you're human. And boy, if you get off on the wrong path, you can waste your life. And then if this path is right, then it spins you off. God knows where you're going to take another, where your mind's going to go after you die here, right? So like you've got a rare opportunity. It's a difficult thing to see. It's not clear exactly. There's a lot of wrong information. So you've got to be very careful about going to a teacher. And you've got to take your time. They say 12 years is not too much. I mean, but
unless you're 90 or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, frankly, I've been to teachings by famous teachers, and my personal impression was they had a room full of people. They didn't know what they were talking about. And so you got to be careful. So
yeah. So when we talk about, when he talks Jetson Kappa from, it's not even 200 years old, right? Mm-hmm. It's 14th century, right? So it's like 600 something years ago. I think how I would want to hear it nowadays as a Western person, probably like a spiritual coach or something. And I was thinking, wow, okay, I really want to have a spiritual coach, because I can feel independent. It's a coach, it's not a
right.
teacher, lama.
Doesn't threaten my.
Doesn't threaten your ego, right? Yet.
Yes.
So this was about, and then when you basically what happens, your seeds are so great, then you meet somebody who you think is can show you the path out of your problems, and I mean, you do not think that this is a sect or a cult or something. Like you really see somebody who really knows what he's talking about, right? And then what happens, and we both can confirm that this is the fact. When you meet somebody like that, then your seeds, they are a little bit go wild, and then you should purify them. And this is the second path, like how to practice and purify your mind after you met your spiritual coach.
Yeah, and we've talked about it in previous classes a bit, but then once you well, there's a couple things. One is when you realize that there's a result from every action you've ever taken, and you think about it, well, then usually, well, if you're human, there's going to be a moment when you realize you have a lot of stuff to clean up, right? And then so then you need to clean that up. But also, we've talked about how to speed up karma, right? How to speed up cause and effect. And then some actions are more powerful than another. And when you get around a teacher, right, there's a power to a teacher. They have the ability to get you out of suffering entirely.
Problems.
They have the ability to solve your problems. And
we are just into modern language.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants to hear about suffering. Everybody knows they've got problems. Nobody wants to admit they have
Nobody
suffering.
says that they have suffering. I have problems. That's not suffering, just a problem.
Yeah, a little less personal, right?
I can die out of it, but it's not suffering.
And so then you need to purify your mind, right? Because like if the problems are coming from you, before you ever say anything, before you ever do anything, there's a thought beforehand that comes. It's coming from your mind, right? And so then you have to purify your mind. And particularly you get around a lama and things. Spiritual coach, yeah.
By the way, we have just invented this word. It's not that we practiced.
And then you'll want to clean up your mind.
Yeah. And also, like if you, I think we have talked at ACI 1 about the powerful objects, right? And imagine somebody who will help you with all your, potentially can help you with all your obstacles, then of course it will become a very high object for you.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so then you request help in your practice. And I personally remember I was thinking, I had doubts, like really somebody can help me.
Yeah.
I'm just busy and lazy and nobody can help me. But actually it does work, strange enough. So maybe you want to do this one, ask to help you in your practice. I do it every single time in my meditation. And I think I have this feeling that my meditations go better when I ask in the beginning, like I think about my teacher and I ask to help me in my meditation.
Well, and that's because even the people around you, right, have their own emptiness. The qualities that you see in the people around you are coming from your mind. And so by asking for their help, you're planting a seed to get that help, right? You know, like, and Geshe wrote, or not, he didn't wrote, he gave in his quiet retreat teachings when he was in his 3-year retreat, he gave a class called The Magic of Empty Teachers. And it's really good. He was really, some of his most powerful classes were when he was in 3-year retreat and his mind was super still and super clear. And so it highly recommend you go back, particularly The Magic of Empty Teachers, talking about how is it possible to have a teacher, you know, how is it possible that somebody else could help you, right? If I'm creating my experience of the world, how is it possible that somebody else can help me? So, and it's
yeah, and the fourth part of the Lamrim is prayers to meet teachers and to achieve your goals. I mean, again, it sounds weird for me, but I know what it means. It means that I actually want to have a lot of people in my life who will give me great examples, you know, who will help me, who will inspire me to do something better with my life. Because we teach on examples, right? And I really want to have many people to teach me. And this is how I will achieve all my goals. This is what this part is about.
Many people to teach you is important, right? Like who is your teacher, right? And then there are formal teachers who give you the academic advice. For me, it was particularly Geshe Michael and Ken Rinpoche. But you know, your wife can be a teacher, your kids are teachers, you know, we talked about a sangha. I mean, a dog.
Community.
Yeah, the people in the community around you.
Sangha, master of Sangha.
Yeah, master of Sangha, right? Like for him, after 12 years in retreat, it was a dog dying on the street was a teacher for him, right? It turned into Maitreya. And so you'll have lots of teachers in your life. And frankly, the better you get, the more you clean up your mind, the more people you will see teaching until the whole world is trying to will look like they're trying to get you enlightened.
Yeah, but first you are entering into a laboratory and you train yourself with one coach before going to many ones. And this is why this first part of practicing how to take yourself to your spiritual guide.
Spiritual friend, right? That was
spiritual friend, spiritual coach.
Yeah,
has also 4 parts. And the first one I remember, I also like the whole this class I was like, wow, so weird, so not how to say, does not really
not part of our culture, right?
Not part of our culture. Yeah, it was very difficult for me. Now I understand why it was it, and I think I can chew for you these pieces, you know, because I was struggling, and then now I realize why it is like that. So the first out of 4 parts of practicing to taking yourself to a spiritual coach is to develop faith and admiration. And actually, it is not what it is written, because how it happens, like you see somebody as a special person that is more advanced on this path than you, and then you start observing. It's like in with the relationship, you do not go straight to the guy. You kind of you watch him, like how does he behave, like then okay, Bill came to a Tibetan class, so right away he had 100 points
Out of 1,000.
then you continue watching, and they say he has done his 3-year retreat. I was like, yeah, okay, I know already 3-year retreat, and okay, 100 more.
200.
I was going to say 50, but okay, 100.
Well, out of 1,000,
So
right?
then what he says, he said that he gave Bodhisattva vows to his son. I was like, wow, okay, that's probably 500.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It was pretty good. Then what Geshe Michael says, that he is a pilot. Wow, pilot.
He's on all the time and grumpy when he comes home.
It's kind of true. So you observe your teacher, right? And then you go for a date, right? Okay, kind of. It's a good one.
Well, he actually, to be fair, you asked Vimala about me before going on a date.
Yeah, and his friend Vimala told me he is a good guy.
Yeah.
Our common friend Vimala. So this is how your face, that I don't know how I would call it, probably how to say, confidence. No, what would you call it? Like when you really trust another person.
Yeah, confidence.
Confidence.
Comfortable,
Yeah.
confident.
You are building the confidence because you observe that person. Please don't jump straight away, because you really need to think and see and observe, and then you make your decision, right? Is this guy good enough to be your teacher, or this lady, or somebody else? It takes time and observation and thinking and comparing to the list that we will give you today.
And you can look at the teacher's senior students and what are they like?
That's a great idea.
You know, are they kind? Are they thoughtful? Are they somebody that you want to be around? Do they know the material? You know, has the teacher been effective at helping them? So
and what happens, like I remember this first thought about Geshe Michael that I had once. I have seen, I was coming several times a year to meet him in Sedona. He was teaching me how to become a teacher, and I remember this thought, wow, actually what he does is so great. I don't know anybody else who would be even close to his level, like it's not just non-human. And this is what they say when they talk about developing faith and admiration in your Lama. You observe, and it's nothing weird. Just because you observe, you just see, you just make your own how to say mind, right? And then you see, okay, that's one is a special one. Then this is when you know that you met your teacher.
But the interesting part is that the characteristics that you see in your teacher, they're coming from you too, right? Like there were people who saw the historical Buddha and weren't impressed.
As just a guy, weird guy who wants money always, but yeah, okay, he has this light halo around him for 3 meters or something.
Yeah. There was
Nothing weird.
nothing special about him except he had this light glowing off of him, you know. And that right, you saw it like with Jesus, right?
Jesus,
I mean,
yeah.
was he somebody special, or was he a political problem you want to nail to a cross, right? And so that was the emptiness of Jesus. And so the good thing though is if you know the process, you can create a teacher. And if you don't have a teacher, you can plant the seeds to have one. And that's a subject that we'll talk a lot more about, right? Because you want to have a teacher. You want to have somebody that's going to help you with your problems. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay. So the second out of these 4 paths, the first one was you develop faith and admiration, and it will grow in you. It will not be something that somebody can force on you, you know. You just observe a person and you think, wow, that one is a special one. And then they teach you in Lamrim how to think. Once you made your mind, you think, okay, that's a special one. Then you kind of need to keep this lineage. And we will not go in details, but there is a special way how to think about your spiritual coach, guide. Yeah. And Sampetempa, right? Then how to act towards your teacher, Jorve Tempa, same. Lots of details in Lamrim. And fourth, how to develop reverence for your teachers, Gupa Kiepa. And this is already like, it's kind of very similar to faith, but because you do previous steps, you reach like another level of, it's not just faith, but it is something profound. And based on your direct communication to your teacher, probably. You want to add something in this one?
No, my mind was going down a different path.
Oi.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, frankly, I was thinking about Geshe Michael and over the years, and boy, you know, I saw some really bad behavior from some students, and he never gave up on them, right? Never gave up on them. And he was always respectful and kind, and you know, very careful with, you know, if there was money donated for a project, he was extremely careful with it. Never, really, really quite extraordinary. Genuinely devoted to helping the students first, right? I mean, they were, you know, for him, they were, it wasn't that he was getting something from them. They were work for him. It was him being devoted to them, to teaching them. So
yeah, because I remember I heard from Mirza Karim Narbekov, who is a well-known writer. He's a Muslim guy, but this part of Islam that is Sufi. And he wrote a book with Geshe Michael, 10 mistakes in your life. And Geshe Michael wrote 10 and he wrote 10. And I remember he was talking about students, and I had, for the first time, I was horrified with how much trouble Geshe Michael has with us, because he says, like, to adopt a new student is like to adopt a newborn baby. It will poop, it will, you know, it needs to be fed. And then I realized, oh my God, I will never be bothering Geshe Michael anymore. But this is not a correct attitude to your teacher, because this is why you have a teacher, you have to bother them, right? But so, okay. Next question, right? How you will choose your teacher? There are always lists. You have 5 qualities.
We'll go through the 5. How are we doing on time? Theoretically, we're supposed to be done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, just
Okay.
go ahead.
5 qualities. Okay. Number 1, controls himself with morality, right? And morality, knowing what to take up and what to put down, knowing how to produce happiness, right? That's what morality is. And boy, yeah, it's stunning. I've never seen him get irritated with a student. I've never seen him like lose his patience. It's really extraordinary. So morality.
Then he has capacity of good concentration, right? Mainly, you will not see your teachers meditating because it's their private practice, right? But how you can guess how often they get mad at you or other people. Kind of also part of morality, but ethics has much more flavors to it, right? Concentration is usually what are other side effects?
Oh, well, you'll see them. Like if somebody is really meditating, their teachings will be clear, their mind will function at a very high level. They'll be creative. It'll be obvious. You know, when people are talking about things in class or in person, it's obvious whether they're describing something that they've personally been through or whether it's something that they've read about in the book. And boy, it can be actually quite painful to listen to somebody who's only read something in a book try and describe it. I mean, you can tell there's no weight to their words. And so concentration, they should be able to meditate. And then that's so that they can understand the rest of the teachings, right? To be able to pass it on to you. And they need to be able to teach you how to meditate so that you can have the realizations for yourself later.
Yeah, the third one is they have control of themselves with wisdom. So basically, we are talking about 3 trainings: ethics, meditation, and wisdom. And wisdom is they know how the world functions, the nature of the reality. They can explain to you how you are creating your problems and how to stop these problems and what to do with your life, not to create them in future, to create your happy life, basically, right?
Yeah, an awareness of cause and effect and emptiness.
Yeah. The fourth one is they perceive emptiness directly, which is the direct perception of the nature of reality.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, he says, they have very high intellectual understanding.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody gets to make up their own mind. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Geshe has had the direct perception of emptiness, which is a big deal. So,
yeah. Why is it so big deal for you? Because if you think that you know somebody who perceived emptiness directly, it means you have very powerful seeds to do it yourself.
Yeah, seeing somebody else have something is close to having the mental seeds to do it yourself. So
the fifth one, they have love for their students.
Yeah, and love. This is one of the more powerful ideas in all of these teachings, is that love is simply the desire to see somebody else be happy, right? And so, and what's that going to look like? They're going to teach you how to get out of samsara. And they will make great efforts to do it.
Stop problems.
Stop problems. That's it. Stop problems. No more problems.
Okay, so and there is another list of 5 qualities, because they say you can use any of these lists, and there is another one.
Yeah.
You want me to
get
the other one?
The second list of 5.
Yeah, the second list of 5. In the great division between worldly and spiritual attitude, they should devote themselves maybe mainly to spiritual attitude. I mean, you can see if your teacher who teaches you is focused where his heart is on, right? He wants to pass it on, and like he really loves talking about this stuff, or he's really thinking hard how to squeeze money of his students. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious usually, or to make money as a business person, right? So you should think about it.
And it's one of those things, like it's between worldly and dharma, it's if you've created the seeds to have wealth, you can't stop it, right? Like the Dalai Lama's not going to, can I say the Dalai Lama in these classes?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So he's not going to starve to death, right? Like he's not going to be homeless. There's enough goodness in his life that he's not going to be able to be poor in this life. Because he served other people, right? Now, and Geshe Michael has a car. I think it's a newer Toyota, right? Like it's okay. He doesn't have to drive around in a $500 car that's unreliable. And so it's okay to have a new car. Gets him around. He's not going to get stuck in the desert. Now, if he has 20 Lamborghinis, well, then you're thinking, well, maybe he's not so much focused on the next life, right? I mean, there's a line, right?
To fly only private jets.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like if it's, if he's got if he wants the big private jet instead of a small private jet, right? And then you're thinking, well, maybe his focus is a little off, right?
Yeah, and don't get us wrong. We don't say that your teacher should be a Dharma bump.
Yeah. No, you don't. We're not living in caves. You should have a house. You should have and you should have a reliable car. 20 Lamborghinis, it's okay.
Yeah,
You can start leaving at that point.
and to be honest, when you will be a teacher, you may think that, okay, if I'm really compassionate, probably I should make millions to show my students that they can do it also, right?
Well, it's one of the questions.
Even you're not interested in this.
It's one of the questions that always frustrated me. They're like, well, if you know what cause and effect is all about, why aren't you a billionaire? I'm like, okay, well, yeah, there's some point to that, right? But then if you had the money, you'd use it to help other people. I mean, you'd have, like Geshe, he lives in, his house looks like frankly, it's a little tiny dusty town in nowhere, Arizona. His house looks like a trailer at the edge of the desert. And
no, it looks better than a trailer.
Well, because it has paint on it, but not much more than that.
And a beautiful garden.
It's horrible, frankly.
I will show to Geshe Michael what you said. Okay, so mainly, yeah, we have no doubts that Geshe Michael is not really interested to squeeze money out of us.
Well, because then you have to take care of it, right? Yeah, I mean, if you have a big French chateau, that's fine if it's the center of your organization and there's 100 people there doing work for whatever it is you're doing. I mean, that's fine, right? As long as it's getting used for something. But if it's, if you've got a 100-room chateau and you're sitting in there by yourself, that may
something went wrong.
Right.
Okay, the second one is in the division between this life and future life, they are working mainly toward future life. What it means? It means that it does not have to be like, oh, I don't care about this life. This is not how they live. But you would feel this vector, like this, they are directed towards future because they know they cannot really change this moment, but they can change their future by planting good seeds. And everything they do is just, it looks like almost they're ignoring the present moment because they can be really suffering, but do not react, do not give any attention to the problems right now. I mean, they are managing the problems, but they don't get upset you see. Why? Because they think constantly what they are planting, what they are creating every single moment. The third one is they take care of others before themselves. I think this one is self-explanatory.
Well, and then why would they do that, right? Why would you take care of somebody else before yourself? If you understood the way the cause and effect works, if you had had the direct perception of emptiness, if you had seen that everything you're doing to other people comes back stronger, well, you wouldn't ever behave in any other way, right? It just doesn't make sense. And so even at a high intellectual understanding of it, before the direct perception of emptiness, people would be acting like this. So have they understood what they're teaching? It's just nothing else makes sense.
Number 4. They're not careless in their physical, verbal, or mental actions because they understand how the reality works, right? This is why they are not careless. They will never do anything mindlessly, right? They're very careful with what they do and even what they think.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I just can't. Ken Rinpoche, I was thinking too, he was such the model of the monk, right? And I just can't imagine him like having a bad weekend, right? You know, it's just like
Imagine he's coming and he says, "You know, guys, I'm in a bad mood today."
Yeah, well, he says, I've just had it. You know, like, you guys, I'm done. You know, it's you never heard anything like that from.
Impossible.
Yeah.
And the last one, they don't teach their students a wrong path. And a wrong path is anything else than teaching how to get rid of all your problems and become happy using the understanding of nature of reality.
Yeah.
The fact that nothing has to be as it is right now, and it is all coming out of your past thoughts, words, and deeds.
And when she says nature of reality, she's referring to the ultimate nature of reality, out of emptiness. What would, wrong path?
Wrong path, anything that you teach and say that things are self-existent, nothing matters.
Yeah.
Ethics do not matter.
Denying cause and effect somewhere along.
Teaching to meditate on nothing.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a great example. And that was, we talked about Washang and how there was the big debate with him and Master Kamala Shila about meditating on nothing. And so he was a sincere practitioner, but it was a dead end, right?
Yeah, because there is a danger when you internalize these wrong ideas and put them into practice. They will not spoil only this lifetime for you. They will have a lot of consequences that are much more horrible than this.
Last one, what is the meaning of bless me throughout this text? I'll read it to you. It means help me to change my spiritual aptitude, my very ability to learn and to practice Dharma. And this is the cool thing too, right? Like the emptiness of your mind gives you the ability to change your aptitude. You can increase your capacity to learn and to get a benefit from this.
I think you also noticed that the qualities of the teacher are very similar to the ones that we had in class 3 ACI 1. There were 10 qualities, remember? Like he practices ethics, concentration, wisdom. He knows more than you. He's willing to make great effort for the students. He understands scriptures. perfectly perceived emptiness directly, or at the very least has some realizations. Skillful teacher, love their students, don't get tired, never gets too grumpy. And he can repeat again and again, same thing, no problem for you. So Jetson Kappa says that nowadays, he says, at these times of degeneration, probably you will not meet anybody with all these 10 qualities. Then you have to rely at the very least on 5. So, and I was thinking, boy, that's an insult. Because the reason why he says it, because I'm not capable to create a teacher with all the 10 qualities. This is what he says.
Well, and what I found is that if you do this right, your teachers get better, right? Like dramatically better. It's really, it's an extraordinary process. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is why. Yeah, this is why all this, like how to think about your teacher, how to practice, etc.
They're helping you to plant the seeds to have the teacher that you want.
Yeah, they can be cooler than you think they are. So, and I think the last sentence, and we will get back when, in half an hour or in an hour?
We're running a little late. We went over.
Okay, so the main way to please your teacher, if you have one, is to do what they say. Just practice, and this is the biggest offering, really.
Because they want to see you be happy.
Yeah.
So do what's going to make you happy.
Maybe doing meditation and doing homeworks for the ACI 3 will make you happy.
Well, yeah, and yeah, because when I say do what will make you happy, I don't mean do what you think will make you happy. I mean, do what will really make you happy.
Ultimately. Okay, then what? Then we that was it for the class. Let's do a short dedication. Just close your eyes for a second and think about problems in your life and make a wish that these teachings would help you to stop all your problems and get to a happier point where you will have happier questions to resolve and finally will get absolutely happy and will be able to help everybody else. And do the 3 exhales. First, give away the seeds to everybody you love, who's close to you. Golden light comes out of your chest and rays of light fly to every single person you love. Second time, send these rays of light to everybody on this planet, wishing them to be happy. And the last time, to everybody in this universe, wish them to become absolutely happy and think how wonderful it will be if you can make it happen. Okay, now it's break and we go back together in 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes. Okay.
Thank you, translators. Thank you, all the volunteers, technical assistants. Thank you, Yelena Smirnova, who is the coordinator for this ACI 3. And thank you to ACI headquarters that give us this wonderful opportunity to teach these great subjects.
Большое спасибо.
I have a new translator.